Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is 99 Orga here, and I am back with another Godzilla Battle Line gameplay and commentary. Got a little bit of a special video for you guys. We got 6 battles to commemorate 600 subscribers. You heard it right here, folks. You guys have been killing it, and I really appreciate every single one of you showing love on every video. Thank you very much. You motivate me to make these videos to the best of my ability. The quality of the thumbnails, the sides of the videos, the actual gameplay itself, the commentary, everything. You guys are just amazing. You motivate me to do very well, and I appreciate it. So I want to do a couple more announcements. As you guys may know, I said it in the last video, I will be at G-Fest next week. It's coming up now, quicker than ever. I'm going to be going there with 01 Baragon. It's going to meet up Sir Melee and a bunch of other Godzilla Battle Line players, a bunch of Godzilla fans. I cannot wait. Going to be in that tournament. Hopefully I win it all. If not, it's rigged. I'm just playing. We'll see what happens at the tournament. We already know it's going to be a great time. I cannot wait for it. Oh my god, look at that damage in that. Look at that DPS. Oh my goodness. We're here to discuss something, because in the last video, I slandered Orga. And I was having doubts about running Orga this season, and I said, hold on a second. This is a flying meta. There is one unit I can pair Orga up with to kind of make this viable, so I decided to go and swing for the fences on this one, and it ended up working out. I've beaten some of the best players. I've had successful win streaks. I've had a great time. So let's see what this deck is all about. We first got Wakasa Bay Biolante. What does she do that makes this deck viable? She puts units in a low flying state, meaning that units like Orga and Gigano 4, who normally cannot hit flying units, can hit flying units once that icon is showed above the units, which looks like a Boeing jet or something like that. And if it's a Boeing jet, it's usually going to crash like the stock. But anyway, Orga's on the team as well. Orga, obviously the GOAT, the MVP. Without Orga, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. Orga has great stats. I love the HP, good damage, and the revive is crucial. We also have Gigano 4. Gigano 4 with that stun and the grapple and the quick damage can make lots of good uses against the flying units when they are in the low flying state. I love it very much. Biolante Plant Beast form is another one. When it is in the low flying state and there's like Gauss around it or whatever, lots and lots of damage. We have the Chibi Duo, which we don't need to say anything about. And we have King Ghidorah in this deck. I think it is important to have a flyer with all these ground units, especially the new buff King Ghidorah, because when it evolves into Mecha King Ghidorah, it is broken. Let's not like put that aside. Like, that is a broken unit now, and it's definitely very viable. Before it was never viable. And we have the DT. I like to group up units with the DT. I think that's very, very crucial in certain situations. And as for when I play on different maps, you can sub out Biolante Plant Beast for Mogera if you want to have some defense up, or you can sub it for Kong and get really, really good damage, and then you can use Ariake if you want. There's so many meta units you can use with it, but it's really honestly on you guys if you wanted to try this kind of deck out. And finally, we have to talk about the leader that I'm using, GMK leader. You know, I just decided to throw it in. I was like, you know what? Let's just run this deck with GMK leader. It was just like kind of like whatever, you know what I mean? And actually, I don't know, it just worked out. I don't know why. Probably because it has one of the best leader abilities in the game that's underrated in my opinion. There's a lot of, you know, with Batcher being buffed, and there's G89 leaders everywhere because of the fact that it does a 50% damage boost, broken, right? Guess what? Godzilla 01 counters that, and I made a video about this in the past, so I don't want to talk about it too much. If you want to watch a video about it, you can check it out very easily. Go on my YouTube channel. There's a video called Godzilla 2001 is a Menace. His leader ability is very crucial. You're going to see in this video, units and leaders, they can't really do much once I pop that ability. The damage that they're doing is just it's not really doing too much to my units. And that is perfect for when I have a great push. Now what are they going to do about it? They really can't do much because their damage output is not what you would want it to be. So as you can see here, I'm running those. Look at that. That's the core 4 on the field right now. This guy better put something down because he doesn't know what is about to hit him. We're going to have to zoom in for this one. Here we go. I'm going to pop the ability here, and the damage is just going to go, he's just going to go down in 3 seconds. That's what this deck is, and it's very fun. It's very satisfying. There is some meta units, obviously, as we switch maps here. Now we have Tokyo Night, where I switch out Bylante from Orga. But there's going to be fights where you're just going to blow units out. You're going to have tough matches that can go to overtime. But if you play your cards right, you'll have the energy advantage all match. And it's going to be hard to group up against that. This is a good player. This is a laggy match, by the way, but it's a good match. I ended up doing some editing here to try to get rid of the connection interruption parts. But he's running Gamera, he's running Gauss. The only units I have to really deal with that we're not, that are gonna hit flying is obviously King Ghidorah. Mogera can just do single targeting, and of course we have my leader, right? Godzilla 2001 can hit AoE, so that's another good perk I forgot to mention. He's an AoE leader. It's not like Bylante AoE, where it's 360, but it's a pretty good range, and it's Godzilla 2001, so it's a great leader in general. And I'll show you. This is how I beat him in this video with this deck. It's very possible to beat the Gamera. It's very possible to beat the new King Ghidorah. It's very possible to beat Batra buffed, and that's a good thing in my opinion. I think that a lot of the times when we play as Battle Line players, there's a whole meme about it. I'll post it right here. A new unit comes out, everyone complains, and it's like, oh god, how do I beat this thing? Like, this is just so broken. And then we finally figure out how to defeat the new units, defeat the buff units, and then the cycle continues and continues. And that's why this game is such a beautiful mess, because there's so many strategies now. I think now that there's like, what, 95 units in the game, there's just so many strategies you can do. So yes, there's units that are not viable, but there's also many units that you thought weren't viable that are very, very viable. And no matter what people tell you, you can use whatever you want and have success with it. You just have to put a right deck around it. I played against Owen Baragon the other night, and he was trying out this like rush deck that is very it was just very different, and he actually did very well against me. He ended up beating me with one of my other decks that I was trying out. So it's like, yeah, there's really no say as to what you really should use. As long as you're comfortable with what you're using, you could honestly have success. And I know I'm running Chibi Duo, which means that I'm not that good at the game. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, the Chibi Duo, I've seen people level 2, level 3 Chibi Duo and have much success. A lot of new players that got into King of the Monsters Plus because of last season, they're getting smoked right now because they don't have the levels. But to think that those new units and the Chibi Duo help them is crazy. They just need to get better levels, obviously, but they probably have some good strategies put down, let's be honest. But it all comes down to, obviously, if you put money into the game or if you grind really, really hard, that's how you can compete with the top players in the world. And with this deck, I've been able to beat some of the top players in the world. But now, as of late, people are starting to catch on to my strategies, so they're running more really... Okay, so another thing about this deck that does suck is if you run too many flyers, it could be overwhelming, because obviously Wakasabe Bylante can only hit a specific few. But other than that, that's the only thing I've been seeing is people are starting to catch on, obviously, because I've been running this deck for like a good maybe 3 or 4 days-ish. So now, you run a deck for a while, people are starting to see what they're, what you got, and they're gonna match up with you. So they're gonna try to adjust to their liking so that they can beat you. And it is what it is. But that's how you become a better player, by adjusting, and you can figure out what they got going on, and you can probably counter them. But you can always build around whatever you like. If you like Orga, you can build around Orga. If you like Super Mega Godzilla, you can build around Super Mega Godzilla. It's just whatever you guys want to do. We have here a G24 leader, and G01 leader ability against the G24 leader ability, in my opinion, is a very underrated thing. I think I do it in this video. I probably do. I think that's a great thing. It's still a very powerful leader ability, but being able to mitigate it, which I believe works. I believe when you do the leader ability on a leader's ability, it should still counter it with G2001. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's just their attack, but it could also be their leader ability, which would make sense because it is a damage-based thing. But regardless of all that, this guy could be using a G21 leader. It doesn't matter. We have to win the match, whether the ability of the leader matters or not. Now, he is using a very meta deck. You saw Ariaki, you saw the Chibi Duo, you saw Rainbow Mothra, you see Kong on the field here. I mean, this guy has a very good deck, so I have to figure out how am I going to beat this guy. And this is when I was actually playing with the deck. When I recorded this gameplay is when I was playing with the deck a lot and really getting a feel for it. How to counter like things like Kong and how to really mitigate it. Obviously, Gigano 4 is great because the stun can really take out its shield like really quick, like in snap of a finger. Flying form of Gamera is very, very good right now. So Wakasabe Biollante could help a lot. Putting the unit in a low flying state, letting units like Gigan and Orga do things on them. But Wakasabe Biollante is a little late. The cards you run with this deck also does matter. You can get away with running certain cards with Godzilla 2001, like slowing your units. That's available in the exchange right now. There's that card that slows your units, which I like a lot because Wakasabe Biollante kind of runs away a little bit. Gigan's a little fast, so I like to keep everything nice and tucked so that I can have like a nice, nice big push against the leader. And the gameplay is actually coming to an end very soon because I have his health very low. He's trying one last push with Ariaki and Destroya. I mean, if you could stun lock Ariaki, it's really not going to be effective. You put a lot of units on the field that are looking at Ariaki, it's not going to be effective. Wakasabe, Biollante, and Orga together is great against things like the Chibi Duo, things like Kong. I'm going to DT all these together because I want the AoE to take out the Destroya. It doesn't happen here, but guess what? The healing that the Biollante does is so crucial. And we're going to just make a nice little push here. I know he's going to pop his leader ability, so this is when I pop my leader ability. And we're going to take this game in the bag. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all very soon.